Gotham Season 3, Episode 8, Blood Rush. This episode I thought was pretty cool. We got a good focus on Barnes and his rising levels of insanity. We also got a good focus on Ed and not Miss Kringle. I really don't know this woman's name. I keep forgetting her name because all I think of is Miss Kringle. But we get a good focus on Ed and Penguin, and I don't think she's dead, by the way, just to throw that out there right now. They did it where she freaked out and she was supposed to have been hit by the train, but it's TV. Real easy to live from that type of stuff. The train hits the back of the car, spins her around, makes her pass out, but she lives. Or she's a little wounded or something, and then someone comes by and she's like, this is who I am. They inspect the car. If the back of the car was destroyed, the front is fine. It's like, huh, these brake lines were cut. I wonder who could have possibly done that. So I don't know where that's headed. I really don't think she's dead, and that's going to lead to some interesting stuff. Because now she knows, because she realized when Penguin went to her, she's like, oh, you love him too, and I'm not going to let him go. So I'm actually excited to see where they take it. You know, they had a really good... I love that scene, actually, with her and Penguin, because of course, Ed was like, can you be gentle? And of course, he went in like, he doesn't like you. Ha! Like, move along, because you don't work together. And it was really obvious. It was just him wanting her to be gone so that he could finally be with Ed. And I just loved the way that it all played out. I thought it was really funny. But, them going through it, if he does, if Ed does find out that Penguin did that, it's really hard to tell. Like, that's like the only exciting thing about this whole relationship stuff, is that I feel like it's going to lead to one of them kind of going crazy again. And I feel like odds are it's going to be Ed going crazy, especially because, Penguin, he's so sane right now. He knows exactly what he wants. He wants her gone so that he can be with Ed. But when Ed finds that out, he'll probably feel really betrayed. And then who knows if he'll still want to be with her, because they're in this crazy battle, and it's like, I don't want this battle to keep happening. But she might keep it going now, because at first it was just like, oh, you like him too, but he's mine. And now it's kind of like, no, you tried to kill me. That's a little different. I can't let that go. So I think that might end up changing. If she is alive, I could easily be wrong, but I feel like that's just too easy. I feel like it's way too easy, and I personally think she survived, because they show that scene and it's supposed to be the train hitting her and she dies, but nothing after that, no scenes of it or anything, and I think she's going to come back in this next episode. I'd honestly be a bit surprised if that was truly the end of it, and Ed just finds out and he's just sad and Penguin tries to help him out, but I don't know. I personally, I think she actually survived. If the one dude could get thrown out of a freaking building to do the cliffhanger breath, like, then she can survive the train crash. But I like what they did in this one with Barnes for sure, where he goes nuts, finds the guy at the beginning of the episode, and he follows him, and he's like, hey, I just get rid of the bodies. He goes nuts, and he literally rips that guy apart. Like, he took his head off of his body, like some Mortal Kombat type stuff, and so he ripped him up. He's going nuts, but he's kind of keeping it calm a little bit. He tries to go to Tetch to get some advice. And basically, Tetch is just like, oh, have you heard the voices yet? Because you're going to. So, there's a lot to that. And we start to get it towards the end of the episode. And everybody has, like, creepy, distorted, like, zombie-looking faces, which I thought was actually a cool scene. So, I'm not sure how far they're taking it, or what exactly this means. Because now, it's not just... He kind of gets mad a little bit. It's like he's hearing these voices. He's saying everyone's guilty. He said it himself, judge, jury, and executioner now. So, it should be something. And they make it, of course, seem like the promo, Jim is going to go after him, and then one of them is going to kill the other. They've kind of hinted at it twice now, or maybe it wasn't a hint in this episode, but the stuff with the will, they kind of hinted at him committing suicide to try to stop himself from becoming the bad guy. So, I don't know if that's the case, because they had the scene where he took his gun out and he looked at it for a minute. I thought he looked at it for a long enough time. I was like, oh. And then he took out his badge and he just sat them both down. I was like, okay, but they still focused on the gun for a long time. So, I don't really know if it'll come to that where he does end up killing himself. And I mentioned this before, I kind of want him to just get cured, because I like the actor, I like the character, and then that means that they would once again lose another commissioner. It would be just like the last time. And it was like, because she died fairly early on in that second season. I think that was like the third episode. So he technically has already lived longer than her, but it would still be like a season plus a little bit extra, and then he's dead. So it would be like they kind of a recurring thing, and they'd have to get another chief in there, unless I mentioned this before as well. Unless they do that, and Bullock really does take over, that's kind of the only way that. Excuse me. That's really the only way that I see it working out. If they do end up killing Barnes off, I think Bullock might actually take over, because they've already hinted at that when he did when he took over temporary command. So those are kind of the two options. Bullock will take over because Barnes died, or Barnes will live and everything will be good. Or the third option, of course, I guess I should have instantly considered this at this point, but the third option is definitely Arkham Asylum, and he could just go there and have super strength and have his outbursts and hear things in his head. But I hope that somehow it works. I don't know how it could work. They don't have a cure or anything like that. They still don't really even have a base idea of what they're dealing with. So I guess that won't happen. It's going to be a bad solution, but we'll just have to see how it plays out. But I like what they did in this with him going nuts. When he finds the doctor who's about to cut the girl's face off and stuff, and he beats the crap out of him, and then he stops. He's like, I think it was him. He was like, you're a doctor, for God's sake. And then he stopped and he took him in. And then, of course, he snapped because the dude is like, oh, hey, look at me. I'm free. I'm in a nice little suit. I'm at this wedding and stuff, or engagement party or whatever. And I like that. I like the fact that he snapped, and he's like, oh, you shouldn't make faces like that. It'll give you wrinkles. And then he's just super cool, because he's like, I'm on top of the world. They had like Judge Bam Bam called in, and so the guy's insanely connected, and he's like, here's my card, I'll give you a free consultation tomorrow. And I'm just like, wow, this dude is he's on cloud nine, like, oh, you arrested me, you literally saw me cutting into this woman's face, but look at me, just walking around scot-free. Of course, they were going after him to get the evidence, but of course he said the wrong thing. I think he said what the guy said in the beginning of the episode was, I just get rid of the bodies, or no, that's what the second guy said, who he had like the bottle to. Actually, that's the guy who said, you're a cop, for Christ's sake, because he was flipping out. He was just like cutting him up. But I can't remember exactly what he said to him, but it was like the final little trigger, and it was just slamming him into the wall. And then this is what really got me. So they had it in the promo. The whole time I'm like, okay, there's some part in this episode where he's going to like throw a dude through a wall. And so, of course, nothing happened. It came down to this. I was like, oh, this is the guy he ends up throwing, through the wall. And so when he says the executioner thing and he hits him, he slams him into the wall and then breaks, I was like, that's the scene I was waiting for. That's like where he really went over the top. I didn't know that he pushed him through a wall and then he was going to fall like 5 stories onto the top of a car. That really blew my mind. I was like, oh, he pushed him outside of the building. I thought he was going to push him through a wall and the guy would just be all sorts of messed up and everything. But instead, he pushes him through, and this bathroom is the last, this restroom wall is the last wall to the outside world, and he just flies through it and hits the car, and I was like, wow, I thought he was just going to die from simply going through the wall. I thought it would, like, kill him. And then he flies through, and it's like, oh, there wasn't another side to that wall, it's the world, and he just dropped to the ground. And I kind of love that, because it really surprised me. I thought it was going to be simple, where he just slammed him through the wall and killed him that way, and then he just dropped. And I was like, whoa, I didn't expect it to end like this. And of course, he hits the car, and like I said before, he was able to do that dying breath, the cliffhanger breath. And he, of course, when Jim finds him, he's like, who did this? And he's like, Barnes, and then, I'm dead. So, naturally, we have the typical cliffhanger. Jim now knows that Barnes is going nuts and there's something wrong with him. They're, of course, going to have to look into that, which might be a little dangerous. Of course, with Barnes kind of going nuts, he's going to be like, why are you looking into this? What's your deal? Basically everything, like, what the heck is happening? Why are you guys looking more into this without my permission and all that stuff? So, I'm excited for this next one. I, of course, hope that they don't kill off Barnes, but it's hard to tell with this show. You don't know what they're going to do sometimes. Sometimes that's good. Actually, I think it's just only been good lately. I don't think they've actually done anything bad. Yeah, I know some people just abandoned the show after season 1, so they just assume it still sucks. But it was so good. Season 2 was so great, and this season is really good too. So I'm excited for the next one. It seems like the Court of Owls really come back into play as well, based on the promo. So I'm excited for that. But definitely want to know what you guys thought about this episode. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and of course, based on the promo, I have to ask: is Barnes gonna live or is Barnes gonna die? Or is he gonna go to Arkham Asylum? I feel like there's a small possibility, but I think they might take the drastic route. It's either gonna be it's great or it's bad. I don't know if they'll do the in-between thing where he gets sent to Arkham and they like pseudo kill him. Especially because it's Michael Chiklis. I'd say he's a fairly well-known actor. I don't think they'd, do something like that and have him as like an every other episode or every couple of episodes type of role. So it's either kind of an all or nothing. I would think because of his status as an actor. I think it would kind of be an all or nothing sort of thing with his character. So could be wrong, but I would love to know your predictions as to whether or not he's going to live, die, or get sent to Arkham. And of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.